Good morning and welcome to another Morning Mumbles with Donnie DD214. We'll try this out for a little bit. Kind of like still like the ring of it. It's kind of silly. Anyways, turn the music down, get the mumbles going. How's everyone doing this week? It's Tuesday. Luckily, we got a 3-day weekend coming up, so that's good. Might take Friday off. Anyways, this morning, I want to get into turning negatives into positives, or turning a negative into a positive. There's many situations in life that definitely are negative situations. It could be a daily thing, it could be a monthly thing, it could be, a negative thing can happen any time. But learning to embrace that, I wouldn't say embrace the negativity, but embracing the ability to dig out of something, being flexible, being able to adapt, and turning it into a positive situation. I'm going to use probably a million different references today because I think that's the best way to explain it. Some people are going to have, you're going to have your own situation where maybe it's the most negative thing in your life, and how did you turn that into a positive situation? So what's one example? One example for me is that when I decided to separate from the military, it definitely wasn't under my own terms at the time. If it wasn't for this one situation, and I'm going to talk about this in an upcoming episode, kind of been holding back for 3 years, even with my recording, as far as like the reason why I separated. A lot of people know, but I'm going to talk about that in another episode. Anyways, so I voluntarily separated, and if it wasn't for one situation, I would definitely still be in right now. I had no intention of getting out. I would be at my 15-year mark, looking at 5 years, under 5 years for retirement, at least from the military, and that would have been great. And then I would have, gone into something else. Maybe I would have started my contractor, my project manager career later in life. And so I guess that's kind of what I'm alluding at is, so you take a situation where I separated from the military after 12 years, not necessarily wanting to, and it was definitely one of the most difficult times in my life. Luckily I had prepared myself. I just finished my master's degree, and at least for schooling I had prepared myself. Mentally I hadn't prepared myself, but when I got out, I just continued to dig. I immediately, during my terminal leave, I was studying for my PMP, my project management professional cert. I cleaned up my resume, or I actually had a really good organization help me clean up my resume, and I will talk about them in a future episode because I can't remember the name right now. Basically, essentially, when you're getting out, they will do a free resume for veterans, and if you're interested in that, reach out to me, and I will definitely look that up because it was great. And from there, I started applying to jobs. I was just applying to everything, even if I didn't know anything about it. I think that, again, when we talk about adaptability in the military, you have to talk about flexibility as well. So I was just applying to everything. I applied to probably over 100 jobs. And within 30 days, I had 41 days of terminal. And within that 41 days, I started on, I think, the day after my birthday or something in 2022 at a cheese packaging facility as a supervisor. And this is a situation where, again, I didn't know anything about the industry, and I stayed there a short while, had a great training plan, and really embraced me. So I couldn't have asked for a better first job. Honestly, I was supervising like 20 to 60 people depending on the night, and that was great. My point being that is I took that negative situation and I kept grinding. God will see you through things, but you still have to complete your works as a man, as a human, so turning a negative into positive. I separated from the military without really a clue what I was going to do. I just knew that at that point in time, I wanted to get out. And finally happen, and then what do you do now? Well, think on your feet, move, right? Um, so it's kind of like a zombie just moving forward, like you just don't stop. So from there, you know, got back into government contracting and, got a wonderful opportunity in Florida that's led me to become a project manager. And this is a 3 year span coming up. So it's not like these things happen overnight. I know it's definitely a long-winded story, and I probably could have cut it down a lot, but there are a multitude of situations in your life that you can deem as negative, but then you still have to look at the positive aspect. When one door closes, another door opens. Maybe in your case, it's a relationship. Maybe you're in a long-term relationship and there are issues, and then you break up or split up, and then you realize, maybe you realize your worth. Maybe you find that new person that if you were in that old relationship, you'd never have found. Again, maybe it's a career. Maybe you got fired from something that, maybe you were doing a good job, but they were downsizing or something, and it turns into a great opportunity. Maybe for some people that have been working a long time, what if they get fired and they take a month off and they realize, man, I want better work-life balance in life. My whole point is that, okay, here's another example. I know I keep using examples. It's said, and don't quote me, but there's a lot of millionaires, there's a lot of billionaires. I'm not going to use any names because you can Google them. How many wealthy people have failed horribly, or entrepreneurs? They've failed 10 times. All it takes is that one time to win. So you look at people, maybe even billionaires, that have filed bankruptcy and they've dug themselves out, right? There's a lot of corporations that have done that. And it's like taking that negative situation and turning it into a positive. World War II, probably the worst war in world history. I mean, that's not even really debatable. And what came from that? The baby boomers, the good times of the 50s and 60s. Really, the 50s was really an economic growth of the United States. What is the saying? Tough times build strong men, strong men, or something. Create bad times. I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, you get the gist of it. So the whole rant this morning is that when a negative situation occurs, make the best of it. This morning I slept in like an extra 20-30 minutes. I was gonna do a certain workout, but instead I just walked on the treadmill. Instead of taking the opportunity to just skip the gym today, I decided to take it an easy day. It doesn't matter because I still applied that negative action on my own part by not waking up on time to still make a positive out of it. So whatever your situation is, that negative situation, you have to learn to, again, not embrace the negativity, but maybe build off of it, thrive off of it, use it as a jumping pad or a launching pad to look in different directions. When one door is closed, another door is opened, generally speaking, and even at that time, that opportunity may not be what you think that you need or you want, or maybe that not what you want, but maybe it's what you need. And who's to say that one opportunity won't lead into another? Another example is, as I was getting out, I never really messed with LinkedIn, right? While you're active duty, most people don't care about LinkedIn. You're like, I got a career for the rest of my life. Well, that ends eventually one day, and it may end before you want it to. But I learned how to utilize LinkedIn and build my LinkedIn to build my network. And so your network is huge. The last 2 jobs I've gotten, actually the last 3 jobs since I've gotten out, were all referrals. It's definitely easier to get your foot in the door somewhere if you get a referral. If you know someone, or even if you don't know them that well, I've gotten referrals to other positions maybe that didn't pan out, but it was all through LinkedIn connections. Hey, what do you do over there? How could I use you as a referral? Most people are going to say yes because they normally get a kickback. They normally get a referral finder's fee type thing. So, again, not getting off course. I guess I think I've given enough examples, but my point is that keep grinding, even through the negative things in life. And when you look at something, here's another aspect to look at is learning to take a negative situation and instead of calling it a mistake, calling it like a learning opportunity, right? You didn't make a mistake, you learned from it. Hopefully you learned from it, maybe you didn't. But you have that ability as a human to take the negatives in your life and turn them into positives. That's the end of my 10-minute morning rant on my way to work. Um, I really enjoy this. So I hope other people are getting value out of this. I'm not saying that you're going to be able to overcome every negative thing in life, but there is part of you that should be optimistic, realize that God has you, and as long as you continue your works and your belief in Christ and God, I think those are very important aspects of life that we often negate because we think that we know everything as humans. But at the end of the day, you can definitely dig yourself out of dang near any situation. So, anyways, have a blessed Tuesday. Hopefully, everyone has a good 3-day. I'm going to try to finish these 30 days off strong, and then I'll probably go back to a weekly or a bi-weekly show. Let me know if I'm doing too many. Actually, I'm probably not going to listen right now, but maybe in the future I will. So anyways, have a great day.